We're back here in ChefSteps kitchen today. We spent yesterday in my backyard on a big traditional smoker cooking traditional ribs. I learned a lot from you about how to get that perfect bark, the doneness, getting the texture just right, getting that smoke green and that deep traditional smoke flavor. Meanwhile, while we were doing that yesterday, Ben Johnson, who you guys know here at ChefSteps, and Chef Ryan, who runs your test kitchen at AmazingRibs.com, we're working on an apartment rib or an indoor rib to get that beautiful version or that beautiful result inside without the smoker and without the grill and without the wood and without the fire, right? So you guys learned a lot yesterday. I know we did. I know you guys made some progress on the development. Should we do this? Let's do it, all right. Perfect texture, perfect doneness, pretty important for the traditional rib. Tell us about it.
Well, we've brought the outdoor process indoors. A smoker is really just an oven. It's an outdoor oven. It does have smoke in it. So we're going to do it indoors in a similar fashion to the way we did it outdoors with a few interesting twists that Chef Ryan has cooked up.
So we start the ribs in a foil pouch, tightly wrapped. That gives it a little bit of moisture, helps promote tenderness. Halfway through the cook, we remove the foil pouch and let them dry roast in the oven, which develops our bark.
I know, like, doneness, especially outdoor cooking, because I don't do enough of it. I'm not experienced enough controlling the grill and smoker like you guys are, so I struggle with that sometimes. So we're gonna rely on sous vide. We're gonna pop them in sous vide, pick our perfect temperature and time, which is about probably 75 Celsius, 180 Fahrenheit for probably about 4 to 5 hours, just so I get that snap.
Ours is going to go for about 2 or 2.5 hours in the foil, which will capture all the moisture and hold it tender and keep it juicy. And then it'll go for another 2.5 hours outside the foil to firm up the bark.
Nice. We got to make that traditional deep bark indoors. It's a little complicated.
So the surface dries out. It's almost like jerky. And what happens is the dry rub kind of melts in with the fats and the juices, and you get this crispy, crunchy, sweet pig candy on the surface.
We're using tried and true Meathead's Memphis dust, which has got a lot of nice spices, a lot of sugars in it. Sugar and the spices are going on at the beginning of the cook. They're staying on throughout the whole cook. When we unwrap from the foil, we're adding a little bit of additional rub to it. That gives it a really nice layer, crust. The caramelization at the end from the high temperature of the finish gives us that beautiful bark that we're looking for.
Nice. I think process-wise, we're probably approaching it the same way.
We're brushing on molasses, so our sugar's going on in a liquid form. Don't have to wait for it to melt. It just kind of melds with the juice right away. And then we roast it real hot to get that final bark crust on the ribs.
The last thing that's really important is smoke flavor.
So in our rub, Meathead's Memphis dust, we swapped some of the normal ingredients that we would use and substituted smoked varieties. So we use smoked paprika, smoked garlic powder. We're using liquid smoke as a marinade, and all of those elements have their own flavor, their own smokiness that they're going to lend to the rub. And we've also cheated a little bit by adding in a dash of prog powder #1, and that's going to give us that pink ring.
Prog powder, what it does is it's like a photographic fixer. It fixes the color of the meat and it keeps it pink. So it has to go on when it's raw.
Right.
And then the interior of the meat will cook and it'll turn brown like it normally does, but you'll get that pink edge. Now when you do it outdoors,
happens at the same time
nitric oxide and carbon monoxide do the fixation. And when you do it indoors, use a little prog powder #1, which is what they use to make hot dogs, corned beef, pastrami, ham.
Yeah, we put just a pinch of prog powder #1 into our rub.
Pinch. Just a pinch.
Just a pinch.
Tiny bit goes a long way.
That is a very meticulous measurement.
Yeah.
We didn't want to overdo it. We just wanted to get that color. The smoke ring itself doesn't add any flavor. It's just a byproduct of the cooking process. And having it is a nice thing, but it's definitely not a necessity.
I think our approach is pretty similar in the sense that anything that we can get that's just smoked already, smoke flavored, we're doing that.
We have our smoked products, paprika, salt, a little bit of liquid smoke, and then we also are doing some burnt scallion that gets blitzed up and added to our rub, which adds a nice ashy, smoky kind of charness. And we're also adding just a little bit of pink salt or prog powder to the rib. So we sprinkle that on with a little bit of salt before we bag it up and cook it, and that will help emulate the smoke ring.
At the end of it, we'll have beautiful ribs that have nice bark, perfect doneness, hopefully. And the main thing is getting that deep smoke flavor in that, like the traditional ones have. So I think we should put these things together.
Let's see if we can pull it off.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Ah.
Okay,
All right.
so tell us what we got here, Chief.
All right, these are the finished indoor smokeless ribs. The front one up here had a light glaze. The 3 back ones are all just dry, just the rub, no sauce on them.
Look at the mini tongs for the mini Bentas. The bones look perfect.
Yeah, they're not too
Sticking
sticky,
out like
Addy.
a little
not
little nubbin. Bark,
Yeah, we got a nice bark.
crunchy, and dark. Kind of feels like pig candy.
Kind of the similar color to yesterday, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. That's pretty.
We basically replicated the outdoor process indoors. Very little differential. Just missing the smoke, and the smoke is in the rub and in the marinade.
I want one. Ribs, they look tender. You're like just pushing right through.
Yeah, the knife is just gliding through.
Tender. I see some pink ring. Got some smoke in there.
Yeah,
A little bit of smoke ring.
yeah. Well, they definitely
Tender.
pulling off the bone. Look at that. That's it. Coming right off the
They're
bone.
juicy. Look at this one. Look at that one. You see that?
Yeah, there's some juice. I'd like to see them a little juicier.
So tender. I smell the ginger coming through.
Similar texture to yesterday. Not a strong smoke flavor.
It's mellow.
It's in there. Nobody's, I think, gonna mistake these for outdoor ribs, but they're very similar in texture and flavor. And look at how clean that bone comes.
So 2-stage cooking, smoky spice, rub, bark at the end, roasting it. So these just came out of like a 475 oven for four minutes or so.
Right.
4 to 5 minutes.
Dude, that
just
does
enough
it.
to give them a little color.
Now this has a glaze on it, and it's a non-standard barbecue sauce.
Oh my
Kind of fun.
I gotta eat more ribs. So
What do you mean by non-standard?
Well, your standard Kansas City barbecue sauce, which everybody loves, typically is ketchup or tomato paste base, typically sweet with a lot of molasses. And then we've got some other stuff going on in here. They're kind of fun.
Tastes like Coca-Cola.
tastes like Coca-Cola.
Does it? Now that you mention it, it has
Oh
sort
my
of
god, so juicy.
it has sort of a Coca or Dr. Peppery flavor. There's none of that in here.
Look at that. The cleanness of the white sugar too is really, really nice. I like that it's not all brown sugar. I like the blend.
There's a neat note in there that I'm really fond of. There's some curry in there.
That's what I've been smelling.
That was we've been working on this for a long time, and we kept getting closer and closer.
Curry
And
means so many
one day
things.
Ryan says, "I think we've got it," and he slipped some curry in there, and that was it. It took it over the top.
Let's fire ours.
Yep.
Give ours a taste and see where we're at. All right,
Here we go.
sous vide, 75 for 5 hours. We ended up sticking with it.
Yeah.
Got our rub on there, our charred onion and our molasses. And then from there, they're brushed and rubbed and
Yeah, I mean it's got a little sheen to it.
let's slice in the dry one first. Rib.
Pretty. I love white ribs. Pretty.
When the
Look
meat's
at
nice
the
and white?
Juice, and you got a little pink.
Yeah, a
A big pink, little smoke ring in there.
Little guy.
They look tender. They look meaty. Really moist. Really tender. That rub is potent. Really strong.
Could do less of it.
I think it's just a bit too much of it.
Yeah.
If you'd backed off a little on it.
So
I
just
love
dust
the
a little
flavors.
less on.
Little less. But that is really tender, juicy meat.
It's coming right off. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. Woo.
Succulent, moist.
We blew it on too much rub.
I don't think
Yeah.
you blew it.
Rubbed too much.
I think it's just a little over the top. We like
See that smoke ring though?
a tablespoon per side, maybe at the most 2 teaspoons per side. I wouldn't mind seeing a little sugar in your rub.
A little sweetness in there.
Yeah, I mean pork and sugar are, like peanut butter and jelly.
Best friends. Like peanut butter and jelly. I like bitterness, so I get like kind of a bitterness smoke. You guys have a little sweeter smoke in yours?
We talked yesterday about how it's like a string quartet, and you
Right.
have all these different elements and each one plays a vital role. And smoke is just one part of it, and it should melt in. It should be lost in the element. You shouldn't hear the individual instruments. You should feel the whole quartet. And I think you've done that here. I don't really taste a strong smoke flavor, but I know it's in there.
Yum.
And I think the same thing was true of Ryan's.
So how do we bring them together?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, I tell you what I think might, if we wanted to do another go-round, another iteration, doing the sous vide step first, maybe with the liquid smoke
In there.
in the sous vide bag. These are really interesting pairs of ribs. There are a lot of similarities to the outdoor. I think we came close, and I think that really the best rib is going to be the one that it marries a little of each of these techniques. Right. And I think after we take off, if you guys can take some of the ideas that we've left and apply to some of yours, like using the sous vide, maybe a rub like ours with a little more sugar in it.
Finishing it dry longer, like you guys do.
A little
I
less
like that.
rub.
Yeah.
A light glaze, maybe. You come pretty darn close to in the outdoor experience.
Yeah, I'm super excited. These are both amazing recipes, but I totally agree. I think we can take it a step further. I think we'll continue to work on it. That's what we do. It's been a blast having you.
Ship me the final product.
Meathead and Ryan. Dude, loveamazingribs.com.
What a pleasure. This has been
hanging out with
so
us.
cool.
Dude.
What a great place you guys have here.
The ribs will be to be continued. Until
Be
then,
continued.
dude, just have a blast, and thanks for coming to Seattle.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's been great.
Smoking crack out there, man. You can see. It's all right. Okay. There's a duck out here smoking crack. All right, city ducks. All right.
Okay.